All right, I want to clear the air on one of the most controversial things that I say, and that is, for some reason, this gets tons of views and it gets people's panties in a bundle, and it is running a business, a concrete business specifically, isn't about pouring concrete. I get all kinds of comments like, oh, this guy's a marketer. I caught him. He's a scam and he doesn't know what he's talking about because he says that you have to be in the job to make money. Totally stupid. And if that's who you are, I don't even mean to make fun of you. All I can say is just watch this video. Let me give you some examples of how it works, talk through it, and just share my point of view, and hopefully it can just at least, at a minimum, shed some light on a different perspective of business. Everyone thinks that in order to be successful in concrete, the progression goes something like this. You work for someone else, maybe you start with being a laborer, then you learn how to form, then you learn how to be a finisher, then all of a sudden you're gonna get promoted to foreman, and before you know it, you're running jobs, you know how to do the concrete, and eventually you just branch off and start your own business and start growing the slow way, which is word of mouth. And to be clear, I'm not saying that that is not possible. It 100% is. I see it happen all the time. All I am saying is you do not have to do that if you don't want to. So let's dive into some real world examples, and then I'll talk about what they actually do to make that possible. So here I have Tyler. So Tyler owns Northman Concrete and he is out of Utah. And the crazy thing is Tyler just started his business about 5 months ago, and he's already doing over $100,000 a month, which is totally crazy. And so a lot of people, oh, Tyler must be a good concrete guy. Wrong. Tyler doesn't know anything about concrete. I shouldn't say not know anything, but he barely knows that much about concrete. He already scaled to $100,000 a month. And you're like, oh man, he must be doing this full time. Wrong. He's doing this on the side of his W-2 job. So this is how Tyler did it. Hired us. We ran his marketing for him. We run Facebook ads and Google ads. He sells jobs over phone and over text and basically drives to the jobs and does in-person estimates, and he subs out the jobs that he sells. Okay, so that's just one example. Another one, here we have Edgar and Yara, and they're actually out of Colorado, just like me. They own A&E Concrete. They're another client of mine here at Concrete CEO. Same thing, Edgar actually works a full-time W-2 job, is doing concrete on the side. This August will do over $100,000 of revenue. Pretty insane. Then we have people like Zach with Rapid Valley Concrete here. Zach started his business 2 years ago. He's been with Concrete CEO now for 2 years. Same thing, Zach never really was into concrete that much. He just runs ads, sells jobs, and subs out work, okay? So these are just a couple examples, but you guys get the point. Speaking of which, if you guys want results just like this, if you guys want to basically run a business and the main thing that's holding you back is leads, that is exactly what my marketing agency Concrete CEO does. If you want help generating leads, click the link down below and you can learn more about my program. All right, so we can move on. The main thing that I want you guys to understand from this first part of the video is that it is 100% possible. You don't need to work in concrete full time. You don't need to pour concrete. You don't need to know much about concrete. You need to have a business. And here's the other thing that I think people get really upset about when I say this is when they get on the internet and they say, oh, that's not possible. I know concrete. Just, dude, first off, take a chill pill. Second off, a lot of the people, what I think they think that I'm talking about is a commercial business, meaning that maybe if you sold to GCs or builders or whatever, that's a whole separate deal. To know that type of business, that's actually much more similar to a restaurant than what I'm talking about. So what I'm talking about is residential business selling B2C, meaning business to consumer. And the main reason that I say that is we sell something super transactional when you go B2C, meaning that I advertise a product, someone reaches out, I sell them said product, and if you guys really think about it, how often does someone ever need to call you back ever again for more concrete work? Don't get me wrong, it happens all the time. I am not saying word of mouth is bad. For instance, I have a sales team in my concrete company and they get all of the new leads. However, just this month alone, I sold $70,000 of concrete work myself. And all that was is past clients and past people who had talked to me before, they just had my cell phone number and reached out to me. So instead of me sending that lead over the fence to my salespeople, I just took those leads because they already knew and worked with me before. So I'm not saying that word of mouth doesn't work. All I'm saying is the proportion of how important word of mouth is and relationships in B2C is by far and away way less important than B2B, meaning business to business. So, and the reason why I compared B2B very similar to a restaurant, a lot of restaurants, in my opinion, a lot of like business experts, they say this, is that restaurants are a bit weird because they're like, oh, I need to market my restaurant. But in reality, if you've got really good food at the restaurant, the only point of marketing is to get someone in the door first. But the only way that they're going to keep coming back over and over and over again is if your food is really good. That is very similar to a commercial concrete company. And that is why I'm specifically saying this is different. Because in commercial concrete, your whole goal is to get a GC or a city, or for instance, I work a lot for CSU, a big campus up here in Fort Collins. And they called us once, we did work for them. they really liked us, and now they hire us over and over and over and over again. And yes, if you are going that route, is it more important to be more involved in operation? Well, yeah, because your job is to take care of your customers and they will refer you. They will use you over and over and over again. What people need to understand is when I say what I say about running a concrete business and not needing to be an expert is if you run a residential concrete company servicing customers, not builders, not GCs, like servicing homeowners, then you actually being involved in the field and pouring concrete is not as important as other businesses. Will it help you? Absolutely. I'm not saying it won't help you. You need to eventually have a good product or else people will eventually, they're gonna leave tons of bad reviews and no one will ever buy from you. But when I say that it's less important, I see it over and over and over again. Someone can start the business, have no name, know very little about concrete, not even work in concrete, not even do their business full time. They have full-time jobs and they can go from zero to making a ton of money. I mean, I know just Tyler, I don't want to share how much money he's made through the summer, but it's like he makes more than the average American, and he made that through the summer while working his business as a part-time thing. That's insane. So that is all I'm trying to say when I say that you don't need to pour concrete to run a concrete business, okay? That is what I mean. So let's break down what does it actually mean to have a business, okay? So this is also why I want you guys to see what I'm saying. So I asked ChatGPT, I said, give me a definition of business and define what being in business actually means. And here's what ChatGPT said as a summary. It says you consistently offer something of value to others with the intention of making a profit, and you operate it in a way that resembles a system, even if it's a simple one. So with that being said, that's all a business is. It's basically just a series of systems, and here are the systems that matter. So we need a system of how you attract customers. Word of mouth can be a system of how you get customers. That doesn't have to be the only system. You could do all kinds of stuff. You can go door to door, you can do flyers, you can set up a little booth in the mall, you could do whatever the hell you want. That's why I love business, right? It's the wild, wild west, baby. You just do whatever you want. You just need a way for people to ask you. They say, hey, I'm kind of curious. You just need them to get them to raise up their hand and say, hi, I would be interested in something you have to sell me. Okay, so that's system number one. Number two is you have to define a system of after someone raises their hand, a system where you can sell them. It's that simple. Okay, they raise their hand and then you say, hi, my name is Tyler. I actually do this. Would you like to get a price and to see if we could actually help you? Oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. So you need a system to price and sell. After you have that, you need a system to collect money. So that could even be cash. You don't even need a system. Like you would just say, oh yeah, I actually am not that serious a business and I only accept cash because I haven't set anything up, whatever. If you want to do that, the crazy part is you can. You don't even need to have a freaking business bank if you really don't want to. And then you need a way to deliver the product. And what I want you guys to start thinking of is even the way to deliver a product can be so different. That can be you. You can go out there. That can be not you. You could literally either subcontract out a job where you sub out an entire company, or you could subcontract out individual labors, which is what Edgar and Yara do. You can, man, I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, like go to a homeless shelter and that could be your whole business model. You say, oh, my name is Homeless to Concrete, or some stupid thing like that. And your whole business model is you go and you see homeless people who aren't doing crap. You pay them $3 an hour in a McDonald sandwich and you say, hey, come work with me and you're gonna be my labor for the day. I'm gonna give you a job and I'm gonna feed you. We're gonna go do a patio. You could do whatever the heck you want. Again, you just need a system for when someone pays you that they get what they paid for, okay? And then lastly, at the very end of it is you need a system to manage the team. And that's kind of like, at the very end of it. And that's essentially it. You just need a way to get people to raise their hand, to get people to actually buy from you, so a sales and pricing system, and a way to deliver the product. And then as you scale, you need a way to manage the team and to manage the system. It's not really that complicated. And so at the end of the day, a lot of people, when they get all butthurt about this, I always reference, think about like McDonald's, okay? You think the owner of McDonald's is sitting in a McDonald's restaurant flipping burgers? No. The reason why McDonald's is a successful business is because they've systematized it. They said, hey, this is how we get customers, this is how we sell them, this is how we price them, this is how we give them a really shitty, mediocre product, which in reality isn't actually that bad. Maybe some McDonald's chicken nuggets, right? Pretty damn good. Well, anyways, all they do is they developed a system and they just expanded that system. And the product doesn't have to be that amazing for people to buy it. I mean, think of all the things. Like if you're one of those psychopaths that likes Raising Cane's, for instance, tons of people like that. But hey, at the end of the day, you don't have to have that great of a product. Some people love it and some people don't. And that's the whole point, that you don't always have to have a product that everyone loves to have a real business. And it's It's not the same as a restaurant. We don't sell stuff over and over and over again to the same customers. We typically sell different stuff to different customers. And that is why, particularly in this business, we run a transactional business. It is not the same. You don't have to be as involved in operations if you don't want to be. It doesn't mean that it doesn't help you, but it is not a necessity. Eventually, as you scale any business, what you guys have to realize is every business comes down to the same thing at a big enough level. Over time, as you grow, all your job becomes as the business owner is simply just to manage people and to manage the systems. And that is it. Like literally think of like a dog poop picking up business. You could start when you're like 6 and you go around, you pick up dog poop for your neighbors. And eventually you get more and more and more neighbors. Well, then eventually you're like, oh my God, I'm in elementary school now, or okay, let's just fast forward all the way to high school. I'm in high school now. I'm going to pay my friends to run some of my routes. So now all of a sudden you're managing your friends, making sure that they're showing up at the right spot, making sure they're doing the thing. Eventually you're going to need to hire a salesman. And then you're not even going to be the one selling anymore. You have to hire a salesman to go out and convince people that you're the best damn person ever at picking up poop and that you guys have a great price and a great product and a great blah, blah, blah to pick up poop. And then all of a sudden you grow and then you start expanding places. And now all of a sudden you need to even hire a business manager that manages each location. And all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're 30 and you're like, holy cow, I'm not actually doing anything involved with my product anymore. All I'm doing is managing the people who sell and run the products. And every single business is the same. Whether it's McDonald's and you're flipping burgers, whether it's concrete, whether you're doing dog poop, it doesn't matter. All of a sudden, at the end of the day, after you grow a business, all you're doing is you're running the business systems, the 4 main systems, the marketing, the sales, the product, and the team. That's it. So with that being said, I hope that clears the air. I hope that makes more sense on why I say what I do, which is you don't need to pour concrete to really make money and run a concrete business. So if you like content like this and you want more business content specifically with running a concrete business, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.